Raindrops were falling from the sky as if nature itself was surprised by today's marriage. The wedding hall was sparkling, and the fragrance of white flowers was scattered in the air as if the gates of heaven had opened. All the guests' eyes were fixed on the man who had come to the end of his life and held the hand of a bride who looked like his granddaughter in her old age. Michael wore a white sherwani today, the golden cufflinks betraying his former wealth. The wrinkles on his face and the stories hidden in the ink of his eyes were hiding something that was about to be revealed today. Emily, the bride, looked like a fairy in her white gown. There was a little hesitation in her smile, a little innocence, and maybe a little fear. Her eyes seemed to want to say something, but no one heard the word. The marriage was complete. Applause broke out. People stood up and congratulated. Then, Michael suddenly slapped Emily across the face in front of everyone. Silence fell. The applause stopped. The music stopped. Tears started streaming down the bride's face. "What did you mean?" Michael's voice echoed, echoing in the hall like a thundercloud. "This wedding. All of this. Your game." Emily stood still. Her lips were trembling, but she couldn't say anything. People ran, some tried to catch Michael, some rushed towards Emily. But Michael, like an uncontrollable storm, the poison of every word dripped from his tongue. "I wanted to show everyone how this girl, this innocent face, is being deceived. Do you all think I married her out of my youthful lust? No. I married her so that I could ask her, why did you do all that to my son?" Emily's eyes widened. Her lips trembled. No, I didn't do anything. I just... But Michael cut her off. "Shut up. You broke up my family. You stopped my son from living." People were confused now. Some said, "What is happening? Where is her son?" But no one knew the full truth. Emily had fallen to the floor. Her makeup was dripping with tears. There were red spots on her white gown, not from the slap but from old memories which had now come alive. Michael was taking a step back. There was fire in his eyes, but also moisture. "I will punish you. A punishment you will never forget. You will now have to live in this house, with me. In my eyes. And every day will remind you of the night you took everything from me." Emily was still sobbing. She wanted to say something, wanted to tell something. But today she wasn't allowed to speak. Today there was only Michael's voice, and his throbbing hatred. No one understood anything. This marriage. All of this. Was it all a conspiracy? Or a revenge? Or a story that began today, and the end is still far away? And the most important question, is Emily really guilty? Or has she herself become a victim of a bigger conspiracy? There was only one sound left in the room, Emily's sobs. And the rain was still falling in the background. The rain was still pouring down on the roof of the house. Emily still had the same white scarf on her head, which was now damp and stuck to her face. She was sitting on the floor in the yard, her eyes red, and her heart pounding like she was in a nightmare. Michael had gone to his room. The door was closed, and every step felt like the ground was shaking. For Emily, that room had now become a prison. On the table in front of her was the cake with the words, "Happy Beginning," written on it, and now it lay alone with the soaked candles, rotting like this wedding. Michael's screams were still ringing in Emily's ears. "You killed my son." But she hadn't done anything. Or maybe what had? Suddenly the door opened. A woman came in, middle-aged, a sheet in her hand, sadness in her eyes and a sneer on her tongue. She sat down next to Emily. "Do you have any idea who you married?" Emily nodded slowly, as if she knew but didn't want to believe it. "Michael is not just a husband. He is a father whose son committed suicide, and he thinks you are responsible for his son's death." Emily's breath hitched. Her eyes widened. "What?" "Yes. 3 years ago, a girl left Michael's son Andrew, accusing him of infidelity. That girl was you, right?" Emily's face turned pale. "No, she wasn't me, or maybe she was. But the truth wasn't what everyone saw. I was forced. I was ruined. Michael didn't want the truth. He just wanted revenge. And today he took it. Marriage was a new life for you, but a chance to punish him. Emily's heart started pounding. So will I spend my life in this prison now? This same taunt every day. The woman held her hands. No. There's a secret you need to know. If you're truly innocent, you have to defend yourself. Otherwise, Michael's hatred will kill you. What secret? The woman looked around, then said slowly, Andrew isn't dead. Emily's lips trembled. What? What do you mean? Andrew is alive. But he's hidden from everyone. And he himself has to know the truth about you. He's coming back to save you. The ground gave way under Emily's feet. Michael was lying. So was this all revenge based on a misunderstanding? And if Andrew is coming back, so what? A thunderclap crackled in the sky, and someone stood like a shadow behind the tree in the yard. No one heard, no one saw, but he was there. And his footsteps were about to open a new chapter in Emily's story. Emily lay awake all night. On every wall, in every corner, in the shadow of every tree, she saw Andrew's face. The face that had disappeared from view years ago, and was now buried in Michael's story. But now, when she found out that he was alive, everything turned upside down. Michael sat quietly in his room. An old letter lay open on the table in front of him. Andrew's name was written on the paper, and a nurse's signature below. He clenched the paper so hard that his fingers turned white. Do you know what you did? He said to himself, as if Andrew's reflection was sitting before him. I gave you everything. And you trampled on a father's pride for a simple girl. Tears welled up in Michael's eyes, but anger swallowed them up. Emily was still locked in the room below. The door was locked. Outside, the same woman who had come yesterday, Martha, was standing guard as if someone wanted to hide a prisoner or maybe save him. 3 a.m, there was a soft knock on the door. Emily! She was startled. It was a man's voice, soft, old and familiar. Emily, do you recognize me? She remained silent. The door opened slowly. Martha looked back, and as if fulfilling a secret promise, she opened the door a little. A young man entered. His hair was slightly disheveled. There were circles under his eyes, but his face had the same light that Emily had once seen. Andrew! The sound barely escaped his lips. Andrew bowed his head. I came to see you. But just looking won't change anything now. Emily closed her eyes. Are you alive? Yes. But I lost everything. You, my father. And myself. Michael told me you were dead. He married me so he could get revenge. Andrew shook his head slowly. My father never wanted to hear the truth. He just had someone to blame. And you were an easy target. Emily's voice began to tremble. I was innocent, Andrew. I was forced to give my family money. Andrew placed a finger on her lips. Don't say anything now. Just listen to one thing. I've come to break you out of this prison. I'll give you back the life that was taken from you. At that moment, a loud voice rang out. The door swung open and Michael entered. He had a pistol in his hand. You two thought I was asleep. Emily stepped back, Andrew immediately stepping in front of her. Michael's eyes were filled with madness. So you're alive, Andrew. And you came to him? You two stabbed me in the back. Dad, no, listen. Shut up. Now the talking is over. Now there will only be decisions. Michael pointed the pistol straight at Andrew. Emily screamed. No. Dark night, a closed room, 3 lives, and 1 bullet. But the bullet didn't go off. Michael's hands began to tremble, and the pistol fell to the ground. He sat down himself, his head bowed, and he began to sob. I'm tired. I don't understand anything. I just wanted my son back. Andrew came and sat down next to him. Then why did you try to kill me? Michael slowly raised his head. Because I'm weak. I'm broken. And I could never accept the truth. Emily stood still. Tears in the eyes, wounds in the heart, and questions in the mind. Michael sat down and cried. His sobs were the pain that had been building up inside for years. Andrew sat silently, watching him as if time had stopped, as if everything had frozen. Emily stood near the door. Her heart was pounding, her eyes were closing again and again, and an icy coldness had descended on her entire being. Michael slowly raised his head. "I just wanted you back, my son. I wanted to see you again." Andrew's eyes were wet, but his voice was strong. "And for that you imprisoned an innocent man. Ruined his life." Michael said nothing, as if his tongue was unable to answer. Emily stepped forward. "If you are truly ashamed, then tell me the truth." "What is the truth? Why do you think I am guilty?" Michael looked at her, a tremor in his face, and he began to speak slowly. 3 years ago, Andrew was heartbroken. He was crazy about you and you suddenly left him. A few days later, a video came out of you with another man. He screamed, cried, and then left without you. I saw that video. I saw it myself. Emily's feet gave way. What video? You were in a hotel with someone else. Laughing, holding hands. And you texted Andrew, "I'm done with you." Emily stepped back. "No. I never made a video. Never sent a message." Andrew's breathing quickened. "Dad, you hid this from me. I tried to save you. I thought that girl wasn't worthy of you. I tried to take care of you. Or did you try to break us up so that I could become like you? Tough, selfish, and lonely." Michael fell silent. Emily sat on the floor, as if her existence could no longer bear it. Andrew stepped forward and came close to Michael's face and said, "The video you're talking about was fake." Surprise flashed in Michael's eyes. Andrew took out his mobile phone and opened an old file. "Look. 2 years ago I found out that someone had hacked the account in my name. Everything had been changed. The video you saw was made by AI." Michael's fingers began to tremble. "So, you were innocent." Michael's eyes fell on Emily. "So I wronged you so much, just for a lie." Tears were no longer flowing from Emily's eyes. She was silently looking at Michael, the man who had ruined her life, based on just one lie. Andrew said softly, "We have to decide now. Forgive me, or let me go." Michael had fallen to the ground like a criminal who had been sentenced. Emily said softly, "I can't decide now. I only know this: I want to be free. With my decisions, my breath, and my life." Michael bowed his head. Andrew stood up with a hand on his shoulder and looked at Emily. "Come on. You shouldn't be here anymore." Emily took slow steps and left Michael's world, free for the first time, with the truth for the first time. There was an old building on the edge of town, where time had stopped in the empty rooms. Dusty floors, rusty windows, and a small room, where a man sat in the shadows. On the screen in front were pictures of Emily and Michael. And his fingers kept pausing on a video, the same fake video which had destroyed everything. Game just started. He laughed softly. On the other side, Andrew and Emily were in a small apartment. For the first time, Emily had seen a room where no door was closed, no face looked with hatred. But instead of peace in the eyes, there were questions. "Do you think that all happened automatically?" Emily said softly. Andrew looked at her. "You mean someone deliberately broke us up?" "Yes. I still remember today someone asked me for money. If I didn't break up with Andrew, my little brother would be kidnapped." Andrew was shocked. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "Because I was weak at that time. I was scared. I left you and killed myself." Andrew held her hand. "You saved yourself. You're not guilty." But Emily's eyes were lost in space. What if he's still around today? So Andrew picked up his mobile and called a friend. "I need your help finding some clues. There's someone who ruined my life, and now he might be doing it again." On the other hand, Zach said softly, "I've been tracking an IP for a few days. There's someone who's been following you around. And your videos, Emily's pictures, even the recordings of your calls, are all on a server." Andrew's breath caught. "Who?" "Just know this. His name is Greg." Andrew seemed to freeze. "Greg." He was my old friend. We were in college together. And then one day he disappeared. Emily asked in shock. So is this Greg doing all this? Andrew shook his head slowly. Greg was jealous of me. He felt like I had outdone him in everything. Scholarships, fame, and maybe you. Fear flashed in Emily's eyes. I never told him anything. He probably hated your silence. On the other hand, Greg was now making another video on his screen. This time the target wasn't just Emily. This time he wanted to humiliate Andrew too. You two took my life. Now I'm going to take you away from each other. And this time, he won't just make a fake video. He will come himself. Greg's hands were moving rapidly over the keyboard. Emily and Andrew's location on his screen was changing moment by moment. He knew their every move. Their words, their silences, even the dreams they were sharing. You two are getting closer now. Greg laughed softly. It's just this last silence. The storm is still coming. Andrew and Emily were now in a secure apartment with Zach. Zach, who was a skilled hacker, was following Greg's digital attack. The IP you guys were talking about is constantly active. It's not just watching. It's trying to break you mentally, Zach said seriously. Emily nodded slowly. Signs are everywhere. Last night I saw someone outside the window. A black coat like a shadow. Maybe it was. Andrew was shocked. Why didn't you tell me? Because I don't want to spread fear anymore. I want to end it. Andrew approached her. We're together, Emily. And that's what Greg can't stand. Zach turned the laptop toward Andrew. Look at this. Greg's fake account, Truthseeker89foot, has been posting about you both for 3 years. False claims, fake photos, and a whole campaign to discredit you. And now he's not just online. He's around you. Can we stop him? Andrew questioned. No, it's past time to stop him. We have to confront him now. That same night, Greg made his next move. A video came to Andrew's phone. The video showed Emily with a stranger, holding hands, laughing, the same video that had broken Andrew 3 years earlier. But this time the edit was new, the voice was new, and the scene was fresh. Andrew's breathing quickened. This is the video from today? Emily pulled back, surprise, fear, and a question in her eyes. It's a lie. I didn't go anywhere. Andrew looked at Zach immediately. This video he just made with AI. This is just to break us up again. Emily was crying. He's making me feel guilty again. I'm tired, Andrew. I can't take it anymore. Andrew wiped her tears away. No, Emily. We won't be silent anymore. Now we'll go to Greg's door and ask him, what did you get for breaking us up? At that moment, Zach said, I've traced his location signals. He's in the old warehouse in the city, where it all began. Andrew took a deep breath. So that's where it all ends. 3 shadows emerged from the darkness of the night. Andrew, Emily, and Zach. And on the other side, Greg wrote the title of the last video. The end of their love. The warehouse was dark. The street was deserted, except for the dogs barking in the distance. The dampness on the walls, the splatter of rain on the ground, and Andrew's footsteps, moving toward a battle. Emily had a flashlight in her hand. Zach had a backpack on his shoulder, containing a laptop and some secret equipment. That's it, Zach said. This building belongs to Greg, but it's registered to someone else. I just picked up the signal. He's inside. Andrew pushed the door open slowly. The rusty door opened with a groan. It was pitch black inside, just a shadowy atmosphere. As if someone was watching them from behind. Greg! Andrew's voice echoed. We know you're here. There was a moment of silence. Then a voice came from upstairs. You think you've come with the truth. Greg was coming down. With every step, the madness on his face grew. Red eyes, a mocking smile on his lips, and a remote in his hand. Is that what you guys wanted? To come in front of me? Emily backed away. We just want the truth. Why did you make that video? Why did you ruin everything? Greg laughed out loud. Because you two took everything away from me that should have been mine. Andrew continued. What? Was the only reason you hated me because I got a scholarship? Or because Emily liked me? No, Greg shouted. You got everything so easily, and me? I was living in your shadow. A useless friend. A neglected lover. Emily's breath caught. What? You. Greg stole a glance. Yes, I loved you. And you never even saw me. Just Andrew. Andrew said sternly. Love is not an excuse to destroy others, Greg. Love. Greg growled. I have known nothing purer than my hatred. You guys drove me crazy. And now I will separate you from each other and find the peace I have longed for years. He held up the remote. I will push a button and the truth, the love, the honor. All of you will be shattered. This warehouse, it is a trap. I have such recordings against you, such fake videos, that you guys will never be able to show your face anywhere in the world. Emily's voice had grown stronger. So push that button, Greg. But remember, you only have lies and now we have the truth. Zach secretly opened his laptop and logged into the network. Greg, your server has been hacked. I have deleted all your content from the backup. And the police are on their way. Greg looked back in shock. His steps shook. No, you're lying. No, Greg. Andrew said softly. Now your lies are over. The sound of sirens echoed outside the door. Greg threw the remote to the ground and knelt down. I was just lonely. And I wanted someone to hear me scream. Emily's eyes flickered with pity for a moment, but she knew. Some wounds could only be healed with punishment. Greg was handcuffed. The police car's headlights were shining on his face, but his eyes were still fixed on Andrew and Emily. You think it's all over? He laughed. No. I've left a poison in both of your souls that will never let you rest. Andrew stood still, but Emily didn't look away. Greg, you set our lives on fire, but you didn't burn us. Your lies, your hatred, your fake bridges. All are gone. Greg looked at them one last time. Then the police closed the door, and the car slowly disappeared into the darkness. There was silence. Andrew looked at Emily. Now. It's really over. Emily nodded slowly, but there was a strange silence on her face. She wasn't happy nor defeated, just like someone who had survived a war. Will we ever find peace, Andrew? Yes, with time. Maybe not completely, but enough so that we can start a new morning. Zach came up behind him and said, Greg's servers have been destroyed. All the fake content has been deleted. But one file remains. A video. Andrew asked in shock. What kind of video? A video of Greg himself, in which he confesses how he faked everything, how he blackmailed Emily, and tried to ruin Andrew. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. Can we make that video public? Zach nodded. Of course. And when that truth comes out, your silence, your patience, and your innocence will be heard screaming. Andrew took Emily's hand. Come on. Now we have to rebuild ourselves. But where do we start? Andrew looked up at the sky and said softly, from the very place where you suffered the most, so that we can turn our wound into healing. The next day, a simple video went viral on the internet. The title was, The Truth Behind the Lies. People saw Emily's story, heard Greg's confession, and everyone who had ever blamed Emily now looked away in shame. A week later, Emily was standing on a beach. The air was calm. The waves of the water were gently touching her feet. Andrew was with her. Sometimes I wonder, are we really saved? Andrew smiled. No, we're not just children, we're alive. Emily looked up at the sky, and for the first time in years, smiled brightly. Andrew had rented a small house, far from the city, near the river, where only silence spoke and birds answered. Emily now painted. She told stories with colors that words could not. Sometimes deep blue water, sometimes the burning sun, and sometimes a face that was not clear, but it hurt in the eyes. Andrew spent the day busy with woodworking. blisters in his hands, but peace in his heart. Both were trying to bury their wounds in a new life. But something began to change as night fell. Emily often woke up in her sleep. Sometimes the door would open by itself. Sometimes dark shadows would appear outside the window. One night Emily gently woke Andrew. "Andrew, someone is watching us." "This is your illusion, Emily. It's all over now." "No, those eyes, that shadow, it wasn't Greg. It's someone else." Andrew fell silent. The next day Zach called. "Andrew, you should know something." "What happened?" "After Greg's arrest, when the police went through all his data, another name kept coming up. Someone named Leon." "Leon? Who is he?" "Someone that Greg also looked up to with fear. Maybe the whole plan wasn't Greg's alone. Maybe he was just a pawn." Andrew's fingers were gripping the phone tightly. "You mean, the real mastermind was someone else?" "Yes. And if Leon is still free, he might try to eliminate both of you." Andrew hung up the phone and looked at Emily, who was staring out the window into an unknown space. "We have to get out of here, Emily. Not now." Emily spoke softly. "No, not now. I don't want to run. As scared as I am, I'm ready to fight." Andrew took a deep breath. "Then we have to face this next phase of truth." That same night, an envelope was found on the door. White paper, black words, and a line of blood. Only 3 words were written. "He's watching you." Emily's hands began to shake. Andrew held the paper close to his heart and spoke softly. "So the war isn't over, not yet." Andrew threw the envelope into the fire, but the words "he's watching you" were etched in his mind. Emily was silent, as if caught in a silent storm. Her eyes were still looking out the window, where nothing could be seen, but something could be felt. Zach arrived the next day. His face unusually serious. "I've decrypted Greg's old codes. Leon is not just one person. He's an entire network." Andrew asked in surprise. "What? You mean there were other people behind Greg?" "Yes. And Leon is the ringleader of all of them. Their goal is not just to discredit, it's to destroy minds. You two are their biggest victims because you two have already been through everything. Now if you break up, their game will be over." Emily said slowly. "So what do we have to do?" Zach opened his laptop. "Look at this. Leon's secret channel, where he's preparing a new campaign against you. He'll try to change your past, create evidence that never existed." Andrew gritted his teeth. "So he wants to take away not just our present, but our past?" "Yes, and the scariest thing is, he has access to both of your entire history. Your childhood school records, hospital files, old messages. Everything." Emily clutched her head. "When will this all stop?" Andrew took her hand. "When we stop stopping," Zach said. "We have to confront him, but not on his turf, on our terms. So we won't sit idly by. We'll build a full case against Leon, bring the truth to the public, and expose him in his own way." Andrew said softly. "But Leon is not just a hacker, he is a demon. If we take one wrong step, he will destroy us." Zach smiled and said, "Then we have to think carefully about that step." That same night, Andrew received an email. The subject was, "You have 48 hours. And at the bottom was just one sentence. "Either surrender publicly, or Emily disappears forever." Andrew put down his phone and looked at Emily, who was standing in front of the mirror, and behind her a shadow was moving. Andrew immediately made Emily follow him. "Step back." There was a strange tremor in his voice, like a bolt of lightning in his heart. Emily turned back in fear and looked at the mirror. And the shadow that had been there a few moments ago had now disappeared. Andrew searched every room, every door, every window, but there was no one. Silence. A deep, thick, poisonous silence. Emily said tremblingly, "Andrew, has he come here?" Andrew shook his head slowly. "If he's on our doorstep now, that means He's about to strike the final blow. Zach opened the laptop, his fingers moving rapidly. The account that sent this email is linked to the dark web. This is no ordinary hacker, Andrew. This is someone who wants to kill you mentally, then your body. Andrew said coldly. We don't want to waste time. We have to attack first. Zach said. There's a way. We can put Leon on live trace if he calls you again. And he will, because he wants you to kneel. So we'll kneel, but just for show. Andrew looked at Emily. If he wants me to give up publicly, I'll release the video. A message that will make it seem like I'm broken. But in the meantime, Zach, you'll trace his location. Emily said softly. And if he really comes to get me? The same old determination flashed in Andrew's eyes, who had once fought for love, had now awakened to protect. So I won't let you be taken away at any cost. The next day, Andrew recorded a video. My loved ones I have lost. I am tired of this war. In order to save Emily, I am distancing myself from the truth. I apologize to Leon. I am willing to obey his command. The video was posted on social media. Zach added a trace link, which could turn any follow-up command into an instant location. Then, a call came in at 2:17 a.m. You finally understand, Andrew. But you made a mistake. You think I am afraid of the truth? Well, I just want to see your end. And it is very close now. Zach immediately picked up the signal. Got him. Leon is in the old power plant in the city. And this place is beyond the reach of government security. Andrew immediately picked up a gun and a flashlight. Emily stepped forward and took his hand. Not alone, Andrew. I'll go too. No, it's dangerous. And dying alone is even worse. Andrew remained silent, then nodded slowly. So come on, we'll face Leon now, look him in the eye. The power plant building was deserted. There was only a sign on the door. We are always watching. Andrew looked at Emily. Ready? Emily nodded. Always. And the door opened. But what stood before them was not human, rather a hologram. Leon, but without a face. Just a voice. Just a shadow. You thought you won. The game hasn't even started yet. Andrew and Emily have now entered the final phase of this game. But the question is, will they find themselves? Or will they be lost forever? The hologram of Leon standing in front of them slowly began to walk like footsteps. His voice echoed. Welcome to the system, Andrew. You thought you were fighting a man. But you were fighting an idea. Andrew lowered the flashlight and said loudly. Then come forward, Leon. If you are a person, show your face. The hologram laughed. Face. You humans are deceived by faces. I am free from faces, free from names. I am with your every step, every breath, every fear. I am hidden in your decisions. I am in your memories. Emily took a bold step forward. We have endured your fake messages, your threats, your videos, everything. Now we have nothing to lose. Wrong. Leon's voice was full of venom. You have one thing left, each other. At that moment, the projection from the ceiling of the room began to change. The scene changed. Now Andrew and Emily were seeing scenes from their past. Emily losing her father. Andrew breaking down from Greg's betrayal. Emily locking herself in her room. Andrew crying alone. And then, one last scene. Andrew was shown, leaving Emily alone. Emily was shown, blackmailed by Greg and lying her way out of Andrew's life. That's you, two weak people, who couldn't even tell each other the truth. Leon's voice echoed. Andrew's fists clenched. No, we've accepted our past. We've recognized our weaknesses. And that's what you don't have, Leon, the truth. Emily stepped forward and stood in the middle of the projection. Destroy us, show the world our flaws. But remember, you can't break us, because we've learned to connect ourselves. Suddenly Zach's voice came into his earpiece. Just a little longer and I'm completely infiltrating Leon's network. In the next 30 seconds, the entire system will crash. Leon's voice now turned to despair. What are you doing? You don't know. This system isn't just mine. It's hundreds. Zach's voice. Then everyone will fall, Leon. If you're a disease, then this medicine will be forever. Andrew looked at Emily and gently held her hand. Now it's time for the end. The system crashed. All projections went out, all light went out. For a moment there was complete darkness. And then, only a soft voice rang out. I'll be back. Andrew took a deep breath. We'll wait. And this time, you won't even be able to breathe. A new house with white walls. A small lawn, quiet evenings, and a sign on the door that read, "The place we begin again." Andrew and Emily were now living in this house. Everything had changed on paper. New numbers, a new address, a new beginning. With their help, Zach had destroyed Leon's network. Hundreds of fake accounts, blackmailing systems, and secret forums had been shut down. But the wounds were still there. Emily often stood in front of the mirror, asking herself a question. Am I really safe? Andrew would sit next to her. We fought for the truth. Now we have to learn to live with the truth. Emily's eyes would be misty. Every time I smile, I feel like he's watching me. Like Leon is still somewhere close. Andrew held her hands. If he's in the air, then we'll be the air. If he's a shadow, then we'll be the light. You're not alone, Emily. Emily smiled softly and nodded. A few days passed. Zach called. There's news. The police have retrieved a physical location from one of Leon's network servers. The old museum, which had been closed for years. There was an audio from there, which might have been the last message. Andrew and Emily listened to the audio. A hoarse, raspy voice. If you think I'm finished, then you've never known me. I'm not a system, I'm an idea. And an idea never dies. A cold shiver ran down Emily's spine. Andrew paused the audio. This is just one last scream. Or maybe a new beginning. Emily said softly. So can we never be completely free? Andrew moved closer to her and said, we are completely free. When we learn to live in spite of fear. When we take the first breath of each morning for ourselves, not for the past. That same night, Emily painted a complete picture for the first time. A house. With two hands holding each other in front. And behind it was light. A shining morning. Andrew looked at the picture and said, this is not just a painting, this is our truth. The soft morning light was streaming in through the window. Emily was sitting at the table, finishing her painting. A woman listening to the ocean with closed eyes, as if each wave of water was telling her story. Andrew was sitting with a newspaper, but his eyes were still. What happened? Emily asked. Andrew pointed to a news item in the newspaper. Anonymous cyber attack on national database. No identity traced. Emily listened but said nothing. There was a moment of silence. Then she spoke softly. Do you think he's coming back? Andrew took her hand. I don't know, but I know that if he does, we'll be even stronger this time. Emily smiled. But being strong is tiring, Andrew. Then today we're a little weak. Sit together and do nothing. Just listen to each other. They both sat down on the lawn in silence. Birdsong, a gentle breeze, and a strange peace. As if the universe had stopped for a few moments. Emily said, sometimes I feel I am the dream that Leon tried to break. And now that I am reunited, maybe I am not whole anymore. Andrew replied, perfect is not something that is flawless. Perfect is something that is accepted with every flaw. You are my perfect image, Emily. And I am yours. At that moment there was no hologram between them, no system, no sounds. Just truth, silence, and two breaths, melting into each other. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. It was Zach, holding a closed box in his hand. I thought you two should see this. He handed the box to Andrew. Andrew opened the box. Inside was an old mobile phone. The same phone that Greg had used. Zach said, The police pulled him out of the water, and I had the opportunity to recover some data with the help of the technical team. Emily asked slowly, "What did you find?" Zach took a deep breath. "A video that Greg probably sent to Leon, but it stopped before it could be sent." Andrew turned on the phone, played the video. Greg's tired eyes were looking at the camera. "Leon, what you're doing is not just against Andrew and Emily. It's against humanity. I thought I was taking revenge with your help, but now I realize that I was just a pawn. If you're watching this video, know that I'm not with you." The video stopped there. Emily lowered her eyes. Andrew said softly, "So there was still a human being left inside Greg." Zach said, "And maybe that human being was the one who gave us this chance to live again." Andrew hung up the phone and put it on the ground. "It's time to bury the old wounds. But first we have to lay flowers on them." Andrew and Emily have understood that the enemy does not disappear. He changes form, changes path, but the intention remains the same. Now they have to defeat not only the enemy but also their fear. The darkness of the night was everywhere. Andrew was sitting on the lawn, looking up at the sky, as if asking the stars for a sign. Emily came and sat next to him. "Not asleep yet. Sleep doesn't come until you know the whole truth, Emily." "So what is the truth, Andrew? That Leon is coming back? Or that we are just living in fear every moment?" Andrew closed his eyes. "Maybe both." Just then Zach's message came. "We need to talk. Urgent." The next day, the three of them were sitting together. Zach opened his laptop and showed some files. "This is Leon's old code. I checked it against the new attack, and found something shocking." Andrew asked, "What?" Zach said softly, "Leon is not alone. He is now working with someone else, or maybe a new leader has taken his place." Emily lowered her eyes. "So this is all starting over again?" Zach nodded. "Yes, but this time the difference is that you are already prepared." Andrew said, "We have to take the first step. Only this time not with noise. Strike silently." Zach said, "I am building a decoy server. A network in which we will place false files, which will draw Leon's network back to us. As soon as he gets inside, we will pull out his real identity." Emily asked softly, "And what if he is really a new Leon? Another face?" Andrew said firmly, "So this time we won't just take off his face. We'll erase his existence." The next day, the three of them had shifted to the secret location. Zach had laid out the entire system. Every night, Emily would startle in her sleep, as if a shadow had come again. But now she didn't scream. She would open the door, close her eyes and say, "I'm not afraid. I'm not finished." Andrew would be with her. The two of them now lived not just to escape but to fight. A few days later, Zach's voice echoed. "Signal caught, someone has come in." Andrew looked at the screen. A new ID. Name. Bernd V2. Emily whispered, "This is him." Zach shouted, "Got him. I have his trace IP address locked. Location. Unknown but masked via multiple proxies." But wait, something's wrong. Suddenly a message appeared on the screen. "You thought you were hunting me? I've already moved in. Check your own network, Zach." Andrew looked at Zach in shock. Zach's face turned white. "No, that's not possible." Emily asked anxiously, "What happened?" Zach's lips trembled. "He's already in my system. All our preparations, all the traps. He's already broken it." Andrew gritted his teeth. "So now the fight will move off the screen and into reality, where the enemy stands in front of you, but you don't see his face, only the reflection of his eyes. Inside you. Andrew, Emily, and Zach are now fighting not only Leon, but also their trust, their intellect, and the fear inside them." Zach's face was drenched in sweat. His eyes were fixed on the screen, and everything on the screen had been shattered. All the programs, all the tracing files, were being deleted one by one. Andrew asked sternly, Zack. Has he gained complete control of your computer? Zack gritted his teeth and said, yes. And he didn't just steal the data. He sent the location of the three of us through my system. Emily asked in a trembling voice. So can he come here? Andrew immediately turned on all the security systems in the room, locked the doors and checked the automatic alarms. But at that moment the lights in the room went out. A red screen lit up in the pitch-black darkness, which read, "Welcome to the end." Zack shouted, "We have to get out of here. Now." But the door had automatically locked. The control from the outside was, "Leon." Emily held Andrew's hand. "We've been captured before, Andrew, but this time we won't die as prisoners." Andrew said calmly, "We're not going to die, Emily, we're going to fight." Zack quickly took out a battery-powered device of his own. "This is the only way out. If I can reverse Leon's hacking with this device, maybe we can take control of the system once again. But it will take time. And even one small shock could destroy the entire system." Andrew said, "You work on the device. And I face this mental war of Leon." Emily raised her head. "And me," Andrew said. "You are my strength. You stay here. And pray that we are going through the darkness for the last time." Zack turned on the device, sweat dripping down his head. Suddenly a voice rang out from the speaker. "You still don't understand. Zack was never just your helper. He was my door." Emily and Andrew both froze. Andrew said in shock, What do you mean?" Zack was the door. But Zack was silent. His eyes were downcast. And his hands had stopped working. Emily asked slowly, "Zack, are you?" Zack said softly, "I only wrote codes at first. For Leon. But when I met you, both of you, I changed my path. But maybe it was too late." He had already settled in my mind. Anger and uncertainty came together in Andrew's eyes. "You betrayed us, Zack. You let Leon in." Tears began to fall in Zack's eyes. "I had become a prisoner myself, Andrew. I don't know when I became Leon's weapon myself." Emily sat on the ground silently. "So the one we trusted became the means to break us." Zack gently placed the device in Andrew's hand. "Now it's in your hands. Or finish me off. Or save me, Andrew. Because Leon isn't just outside. He's inside me." Andrew held the device, and there was a moment of silence. The decision was to be made in this moment, not just against Leon, but against the Leon inside Zack. Andrew held the device Zack had given him in his hand, and in front of him Zack bowed under the weight of the truth of what he had done. Emily sat quietly in a corner, her face showing neither fear nor anger. Only a deep silence, as if her heart was afraid to let out its cries. Andrew asked softly, "Zack, if you were a door to Leon, what are you now?" Zack closed his eyes and answered, "I am a crack, Andrew, in which truth can be lost and lies too. But now I want that you close this crack in me forever." Andrew stared at the device. The device had one option. Warning purge system. Erase all ties including Zack's access. Zack raised his head for the last time. "If you don't finish me, then Leon will come back. And if you do, then I might be the last person who believed in you." Emily's voice was low, but echoing from within. "Andrew, we will never run away from the truth. Whatever decision you make, it involves your conscience, not your heart." Andrew took a deep breath and put his finger on purge. "But stop. Zack. If Leon is inside you, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to imprison him inside you." Zack raised his head in surprise. "Imprisonment?" Andrew said. "Yes. We won't separate you, we'll keep you safe. We'll give you a chance to fight the darkness inside you. Because if Leon is to be defeated, he has to be destroyed not just from the outside, but from the inside as well." Emily smiled for the first time and said, "You're not the enemy anymore, Zack. You're the field. And the field is not abandoned. The field is cleared. Zack grabbed the device, reconfigured it, and entered a new command. Contain.leon.protocol equals on. At that moment, a final shout came over the speaker. You think you've won. I'm not a man. I'm a possibility. I'll come again. A new form, a new face, a new mistake. Andrew replied softly. So we'll be the new light. Every time, everywhere. The system reset itself. All alarms off, network clear, Leon's server disconnected. Andrew looked at Emily, who now seemed quiet but content. Zack said softly, I may not be your friend anymore. But if darkness ever comes again, call me. I'm not the light, but I can definitely be the first step towards it. Andrew hugged him. You are a friend, Zack. And you will be. Because true friendship is what remains even when the truth is spoken. The first light of morning was peeking through the window. Andrew and Emily were making tea in the kitchen. After a while, this was a moment in which there was no fear, no running. Just silence and each other's touch. Emily said softly, We are alive, Andrew. And maybe for the first time completely free. Andrew placed the teacup in front of her. And maybe for the first time we have chosen life, not fear. Zack was now in another city. In a secret therapy center, where his memory was being examined. And the remaining jump of Leon inside him was being eliminated. Emily looked out the window. Some children were playing in the street, birds were chirping. And a small plant, which she had planted a month ago, had now given a new sprout. Andrew, how long are we going to believe that Leon is gone? Andrew put his hand on her shoulder. We have to accept that he is finished where he was. Even if he comes now, he won't find us the same as we were. Emily looked at her and said, Then we must start a new path. We must step out of Leon's shadow and live in our own light. Andrew nodded in agreement. We will write a book about all these stories, about all these truths that we have endured. Emily asked in surprise. A book? Yes. Andrew said with a smile. A true story that does not have the face of the enemy, but the recognition of the darkness inside a person. A book that shows that, behind the cyber world, the human soul is also fighting. Emily's eyes moistened. And the title of this book? Andrew said slowly. Behind the Silence. A few weeks later, Andrew and Emily's book, Behind the Silence, was launched. People were calling it not just a hacking story, but a book of spiritual awakening. One review read, This story invites us to recognize the Leon within ourselves, not just against Leon, who hides inside and makes us cowards, who prevents us from love, and keeps us from the truth. And then, one day a notification came on Andrew's phone. New email received, from unknown.source@protonmail.com. Subject line. You did well. But I never left. Andrew took a deep breath. He closed the email and put the phone aside. Emily asked, Anything special? Andrew said, Just an old shadow that was reminding us of its existence. Emily held her hand. So, Andrew said softly, We're not afraid of shadows, Emily. We've learned to shine a light on them.